Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraya Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyum Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Okay, before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So we're reading today from the first canto, chapter 15, text number 5. Arjuna Uvacha Vanchito Ham Maharaja Vanchito Ham Maharaja Harina Bandurupina Harina Bandurupina Ye name paritam tejo Ye name paritam tejo Deva Vishma Panam Deva Vishma Panam Mahat Deva Vishma Panam Mahat. Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna said. Vanchita. Left by him. Aham. Myself. Maharaja. O king. Harina. By the personality of Godhead. Bandurupina. As if an intimate friend. Yena. By whom. Me. My. Aparitam. I have been bereft. Tejaha. Power. Deva. The demigods. Vishmapanam. Astonishing. Mahat. Astounding. Okay, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Arjuna said, O king, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Thus, my astounding power, which astonished even the demigods, is no longer with me. Okay, you say? Arjuna said, O king, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Thus my astounding power, which astonished even the demigods, is no longer with me. Purport by His divine grace. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 41, the Lord says, anyone specifically powerful and opulent in wealth, strength, beauty, knowledge, and all that is materially desirable is to be considered but a product of an insignificant portion of the complete whole of my energy. End quote. No one, therefore, can be independently powerful in any measure without being endowed by the Lord. When the Lord descends on the earth, along with His eternal, ever-liberated associates, He not only displays the divine energy possessed by Himself, but He also empowers His associate devotees with the required energy to execute His mission of incarnation. It is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4, verse 5, that the Lord and His eternal associates descend on the earth many times, but the Lord remembers all the different roles of incarnations, whereas the associates, by His supreme will, forget them. Similarly, the Lord takes away with Him all His associates when He disappears from the earth. The power and energy which were bestowed upon Arjuna were required for fulfillment of the mission of the Lord. But when his mission was fulfilled, the emergency powers were withdrawn from Arjuna, because the astounding powers of Arjuna, which were astonishing even to the denizens of heaven, were no longer required, and they were not meant for going back home, back to Godhead. If the endowment of powers and withdrawal of powers by the Lord are possible even for a great devotee like Arjuna, or even the demigods in heaven, then what to speak of the ordinary living beings who are but figs compared to such great souls? The lesson is, therefore, that no one should be puffed up for his powers borrowed from the Lord. The sane man should rather feel obliged to the Lord for such great benedictions and must utilize such power for the service of the Lord. Such power can be withdrawn at any time by the Lord, so the best use of such power and opulence is to engage them in the service of the Lord. Okay. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalkaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantekam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavanscha Sadvaitam Savadutam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakapa Trivastra Kribasindave Bachapati Tanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Monmaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vetakara Harshvasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, first of all, I definitely want to ask for the blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled, that I can say something worth hearing and we can all learn. That good? When I was first asked to give class, I started notes on verse number 6, which had to do with how Lord Krishna is the vital principle of everything. It's not loud enough? Okay. And I thought to start with a little review that we in the previous chapter we just went through all these different omens that Maharaj Yudhisthira had noticed were going on, and he noticed Arjuna had finally come back from Dwarka. He was very anxious to find out, what's going on. I think it was like 6-7 months, and Maharaj Yudhisthira immediately could tell that something was wrong. We know that when we see a friend, and we notice that their energy's just not up. Something happened. So Maharaj Yudhisthira asked all these different questions, and also he noticed that things on the planet had gotten. I'm trying to find it. The common man things had deteriorated, and the common people. Here it is. He noticed that it was interesting. It said that he noticed there's a fear due to the change of the direction of eternal time, that there are irregularities starting to be noticed in the kingdom, and when he said that disruption in the seasonal regularities, also I was thinking how I was taught that generally regular means that it rains at night, and then it's sunny during the day, and then this helps all kinds of commerce and farming and agriculture and everything go nicely, so that possibly we're here now and we're so used to these disruptions, but this only all came in advented with Kali Yuga. I was very surprised because Maharaj Yudhisthira, he was 5,000 years ago, and he was noticing that the people were coming greedy, they were getting angry, fights between close friends, family members, even husband and wife. So here we are, so many thousands of years later. It's quite normal for us. We're used to it. It's Kali Yuga in Bharatvarsha, which, by the way, it's only Kali Yuga in Bharatvarsha, even though we have the entire universe filled with so many planets, so many realms. One of the points was how expansive, how unlimited Krishna's energies are. We can't comprehend. Quite frankly, we are the frog in the well. I was going through I was listening to a lecture by Sariputta, and he was talking about the size of our particular universe. It was a class on Viraha, and so Sariputta was giving us the dimensions that our universe happens to be about 4 billion miles in diameter, but it's actually just slightly less than 4 billion miles, and our little part of Bhumandala is like a disc-like shape in the middle of our universe, and our universe is kind of like an egg shape. They use the word Andagola. Andagola means egg shape. And we know that we have 3 planetary systems. We have the upper planetary, we're in the middle planetary, and then we have the lower, which it seems the lower planetary system, mostly what I learned were just the different talas, which are pretty much directly under the Earth, because then you have the whole disk being balanced on top of Anantasesha's head, and you have like 4 elephants in the 4 corners in the 4 directions, keeping everything balanced. Sariputta was going all through this. And why would you need the elephants? Because Bhumandala isn't exactly the total diameter of the universe, it's a little bit shorter, and that's how come it was able to tip down and fall into the water. But actually, at one point they were saying that it was the water that came up. So here we have this Bhumandala, which has the different dweepas in them. Sariputta was equating them with the different planets, which was a new concept to me, actually. You know, the different dweepas are separated by the ocean of sugar cane, ocean of liquor, ocean of ghee, ocean of salt water, sweet water, and like that. But he did equate the different dweepas to the planets. And then here we are, the Earth planet also. There's a bit of a controversy. Is it flat or is it round? And I think depending on where you're standing from, it's both. So for us, it's round. We have a whole 25,000 miles of this a small part, a very small part of Bharatvarsha for sure. So we have this huge disk with gazillions of different realms and planets, and that's just in the middle. And then, of course, above the middle, then we have the Mahaloka, Jalaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. So this universe is huge. We have all kinds of living entities in the Bhuvarloka area. We got the Charnas, the Siddhanas, the Yakshas, the Gandharvas. I mean, there's all kinds of action going on. And even here on our little tiny Earth planet, even though the opulences have been greatly diminished, still there's quite a lot of jewels and gold, and we have lots of wonderful natural opulences in the form of waterfalls and gardens, and we still have beautiful silks to make clothes from and all. So all these opulences, it's astounding. But the fact is, if just this one little universe with its gazillions of jivas in 8,400,000 different forms of life, and then each form has its own little set of sense objects to enjoy with the specific senses of the specific form that the jivas are in, including like a blade of grass, which, you know, the wind comes along and brushes it. So it's enjoying, you know, the wind in the form of touch. But when we get outside, so this huge universe with so much opulence and just unlimited everything we can't even imagine. And even Prabhupada was saying that only Krishna knows the limit. But actually in some scriptures we find out that even Krishna doesn't know his limit, because he's always increasing anyway. So even he doesn't know the limit. And this reminds me again of this point that I had learned in one of the classes, that it is really good to contemplate and understand how super unlimited and great Krishna is, because then, when as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, actually we definitely acknowledge and study and validate the unlimited energies of Krishna, but at the same time, we are very fortunate that we are allowed to, or able to, zone in on how sweet Krishna is, actually. And that's even more wonderful than his powers. One thing that struck me, Prabhupada was saying here how Krishna, he descends with his different, he displays his divine energy, but he empowers his devotees. The Lord and his associates descend on earth. He displays his divine energy and empowers his devotees. And when I read that, I was thinking of this movie, this Chinese mystical movie, and these personalities descended and appeared out of nowhere, and the whole village was astounded. And so I was thinking of that. I got goosebumps. I was like, yeah, Krishna descends, and he's all powerful, and he brings all his associates with him. And actually, we learn from the Vedic scriptures that Krishna is within every atom. And everywhere that Krishna appears, his entire entourage appears. So I think we're even worse than the frog in the well. Maybe we're like the little tick in the huge palace, you know, because Krishna is so unlimited. Just now, when I was reading the purport, and Prabhupada was saying how he bestows energy, power and energy, for the fulfillment of his mission. And it was really interesting because I was thinking of when I first joined the temple, and I actually joined later than a lot of the early Prabhupada disciples. I joined in 75, and by then there was quite a mechanism going on. I mean, the movement had been built up. We were out there, you know, Prabhupada was cranking out the books, and we were in the airports, you know, distributing them by the thousands, and you had the wonderful library parties distributing sets of Bhagavatams into the different college libraries all around. It was just a lot going on, and when I joined, I was just, you know, plugged right into that level, and before you knew it, you know, within a few months, I was out there in the library, in the airports, distributing Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I was at that point I was a brahmachari. I was actually waking up at 2:30 and getting my rounds done before Mangalarti, and like when I think back to those days, I feel that I was empowered. I was empowered for a little while. I have said that before to devotees, that I'll tell you, back then when Prabhupada was here and everything was full steam ahead, Hare Krishna was a household word, we were empowered. And then, of course, after Prabhupada left our association, his Vani, I myself, over the decades, I didn't feel I could do what I used to be able to do, and I'm trying to get back there. At least I know that, you know, there is a hope, you know, to wake up and then just be excited to get up and start chanting your rounds and meditate on Krishna right away, you know, like that. I feel like that. I feel like, you know, the deed was, all right, the work isn't totally over, but a lot was done in those early years, and there were thousands of us. We were empowered. We moved into the ashrams and lived on the floor, and I mean, it was like from sunrise to sunset, it was a buzz of serving Prabhupada, you know, and that would be nice to get back to that. So let's see some other notes here, mostly about the associates of the Lord. Okay. So the lesson is that no one should be puffed up for his powers borrowed from the Lord. Well, not to speak of our powers, our very body is borrowed from the Lord. You know, everything that we see is Krishna. I think of that. I try to during the day. Wow, everything is Krishna, you know. When I'm in there doing these plates are Lord Balaram, you know. Because we do know that Krishna himself, I was just talking to my mom, and I said, you know, Krishna, he's just really great, you know, and he's so great, he's God, he has to do everything, he has all this work, but he has everybody else doing the work, and he has this energy that allows him to forget who he is, and he gets to play like a little kid with his friends.
What did your mom say?
That's pretty far out. She didn't say anything. She just listened. Yeah, I don't remember her saying anything. But each week, I plan a little more information for her to think about during the week. Like, yeah, God is, he's so powerful. And we know that because Krishna immediately expands as Lord Balaram, and Lord Balaram then expands into the Chatur Vyuha, and that's where everything comes from. Because Krishna, all he does is enjoy.